Welcome to a new historical torture video, TikTakers. Today, we bring you one used in the Middle Ages by the Holy Inquisition with those accused of going against the Catholic Church, the Heretics Fork. As many of you know, the Holy Inquisition was a religious court created with the intention of being able to eliminate the heresy that threatened its church. It only had jurisdiction over Christians, that is, they couldn't act against Jews or Muslims, for example. The victims were almost always interrogated under torture and finally punished if they were classified as guilty. During the process, their assets were confiscated to cover court costs and imprisonment. After accusing someone of heresy, came the torture in search of the confession, among them the Heretics Fork. It consisted of placing a necklace around the condemned man's neck, which had a kind of double-ended fork. This fork was placed above the sternum in the upper part just below the chin, making the neck stretch back so as not to be damaged. In this way, any movement on the part of the person, such as trying to lower his gaze, moving his jaw, or breathing hard while raising his shoulders, caused the fork to pierce his skin. The torturers were in charge of preventing the victim from lying down or seeking a comfortable position. Sometimes they even attached him to the ceiling or a wall. Talking or the simple gesture of swallowing meant doing more damage. A few seconds, it's easy, but you only have to raise your head for a couple of minutes to start noticing the pain and exhaustion of not moving your head from that position. Finally, they ended up so desperate that they ended up confessing. When the convicted person entered into contradictions or was inconsistent with his statement, or when he made only a partial confession, it was then that they made him suffer the most, being warned that if he didn't tell the truth, the torment wouldn't stop. And this was happening while he was bleeding from his chin and chest. In some texts, it is pointed out that when the victim was very sorry and told him that he was retracting everything said or done, sometimes, and depending on the type of crime, he could receive forgiveness from the church. Although it wasn't one of the hardest tortures, it was quite long and painful. It was designed so that the condemned person didn't die instantly. Even the tines of the fork were the exact size to make them lose blood but not excessively, and so that they didn't bleed to death quickly. In fact, even if the person was very desperate and wanted to end his life earlier to stop suffering, letting his head fall on top of the spikes, death would still be slow and torturous. After the first few hours, the muscles of the neck and shoulder blades would start to get stiff. The cramps would come, the pain in the back of the neck, then the first spasms, those involuntarily tremors that meant more and more pain. And let's not forget that it was also torture of sleep deprivation, because any attempt at rest was impossible. If the prisoner wanted to feel the relief and relaxation of his muscles, he had to lean forward and have more suffering. A real agony. Most of them ended up with their heads back, as if they were looking at the sky, asking for forgiveness, to avoid being pierced by the tips of the fork. In this way, he not only asked for forgiveness from his torturers, but also from God. Despite the fact that numerous sources associate the Heretics Fork with the Holy Inquisition, others place it as a form of torture used between the 15th and 16th centuries by the French Parliament. Did you know about this, TikTakers? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, and if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!